Okay. Hey, Alissa, I'm so very, very excited.
Yes, tell them why.
We are going to be at the NAR NXT Expo, the big NAR Expo.
The conference that is in Anaheim, California, November 14th through the 16th.
I know. It's going to be great. And we're not just going to be there like walking around and doing nothing. We're going to have a booth.
We have a booth. It is number 551. And so we get to meet you and see you in person. So come find our booth.
We're super excited to meet you. And you don't just get to meet us. You can also record your very own toast for the show. So we'll have a microphone and it'll be like a little mini Hustle Humbly. And then we're going to air all those toasts in your own words and your own voice.
Your voice will be on our podcast.
It's going to be really cool.
I can't wait to see everybody.
I can't wait to see everybody. So we're super excited to see you. It is November 14th to 16th. You can get your tickets now at narnxt.realtor.
We will see you there.
Bye. So do you see now, people, why I told you to stop listening to this episode?
Isn't this fascinating? Like I got my license revoked, okay? So around this time, I also had like my first real boyfriend.
Right. This is where the story gets so good. I'm like, get your popcorn, people.
You could rent me for events.
Yes.
I had a habit of befriending homeless people. Hi, y'all. Welcome to Hustle Humbly. It's Alissa and Katy, and we are two top producing realtors in the Baton Rouge market.
We work for two different companies where we should be competitors, but we have chosen community over competition.
The goal of our podcast is to encourage you to find your own way in business.
So stop comparing yourself and start embracing your strengths. Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katy.
Welcome back to the news desk.
Yes.
Today, the news is all about us.
Oh, gosh.
It's an Ask Us Anything episode.
I'm regretting it a little.
We haven't even started. You can't regret something you haven't started yet, okay. But I do want to have a disclaimer on the front end. If you happen to be joining us for the first time, number one, welcome. Number two, please hit pause on this episode and go back to one of the many episodes filled with really useful information.
This is more just for fun.
This is strictly for fun. Alissa has now been giggling for the last 30 minutes, just thinking of answers to some. I only gave you a few questions to prepare for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We did ask first of all, we are not this obsessed with ourselves.
No.
We're not like, let's have an Ask Us Anything episode. We had a listener who messaged and was like, will you answer some personal questions? And I'm like, okay.
Sure.
So then we asked you guys what you wanted us to answer.
And we have your questions here.
Right here. I have the questions and I gave Alissa only some of them. So she doesn't know the answers to all of them. But I'll give you an easy one and you can start us off with this because I'll tell them I brought my Coca-Cola with me. So real Coke or Diet Coke?
Real.
Right. But now tell them why you don't drink it anymore.
Because COVID messed up my taste buds and now it tastes like metal.
I'm actually really sad for you.
It is so sad.
Because it's such a great treat and I'm having it as a treat today.
I miss it.
I very rarely have it.
Coke was like, I don't know, Coke and popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
A good old fountain Coke.
Fountain Coke. Gotta have the ice. Must have ice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I miss it. You're lucky. It never got better so far.
How does sweet tea taste? Because that would be devastating to me.
No, it tastes fine. That's when I will always like tea. Mm-hmm. And when Coke started tasting like metal,
I guess it's just tea.
Sweet tea became my new thing.
Well, tell me this. What is your favorite beverage?
Probably tea. Iced tea.
Sweet? Unsweet?
Half and half.
I go half and half.
Half and half with extra ice from Cane's.
Why the extra ice, though?
I just like to eat my ice
I do like to eat the ice, but I want enough tea. So I really want
know.
half a glass of ice. But
right.
Nothing irks me more, because the next question was tell us some of your pet peeves, than when they give you burning hot tea. So even if they gave you half of ice, it melted all the ice before I got to chew any of it.
Yes, and that seems to happen a lot.
So do you see now, people, why I told you to stop listening to this episode?
Isn't this fascinating?
Go listen to something else that we have talked about.
Yes.
Okay, let's do something real estate related. What is your biggest real estate pet peeve?
I think it would be when I have either like a client that can't listen to me.
Okay.
Like, I know this is the answer, but they're maybe either in denial or fighting the answer.
I would like to insert here. I overhear, especially on Tuesdays and Thursdays, a lot of your real estate conversations on the phone, and you have a lot of clients that do this.
Yeah.
You're being very clear.
Yes.
About what the problem is, what the solution is, what the options are, and they are not listening.
Sometimes they just get hung up on things, and I'm like, just listen to me.
Yeah, I'm impressed, incredibly impressed with your patience.
I feel like I'm not a patient person.
It comes across fine. Okay, so that's a real estate pet peeve. I was going more in the agent direction.
Yes, I know, but I guess because you just overheard my phone call yesterday, you know that that's what I'm dealing with in the present moment.
Yeah, okay, fair. I have so many that it would be hard to pinpoint. But I'll go A number one. Well, agents who do not answer their phone ever, or any message or any email or any method of contact. Like the ghost invisible agent.
Right.
Number one pet peeve. Number two is bad listing photos. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me. Like, why couldn't you get someone with a real camera to take photos that were not you with your finger halfway over the lens of your cell phone?
Right.
Or pictures of some man in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yee.
Yeah.
We could do real estate pet peeves all day.
We could.
But we're not gonna, because we're gonna keep this light.
Yeah.
Keeping it light. Keeping it light. Oh, let's go back to lunch. Fries or tots?
Well, today I had tots from, where we went, but I think I'm a French fry gal.
I'm fries. Have you ever had, in the freezer section, they have the majillion kinds of fries, tots, whatever. They have crowns.
Oh.
Crowns are like quarter size, and it's like a flattened tot where there's, it's like a flat tot.
Interesting.
They're so good.
Okay.
In case anyone's interested and you happen to like tots, I would go with crowns, but I'm also fries.
Okay.
Well, while we're on food, what do you eat in a day? These are not,
my gosh.
For the record, these are not my questions.
Okay.
These are questions from the
my
people.
go-to for breakfast, I
Please
like the Kodiak peanut butter chocolate oatmeal.
Okay.
It's just in a cup. It goes in the microwave.
That sounds efficient.
It's easy. It's quick. I don't really have an appetite early in the morning, but I need to eat because I know myself. So that's what I do. But I don't know. I mean, I try to
You have to eat lunch.
Yeah, usually with you.
Right. Sometimes.
You see what I eat.
Salad, burger. It could be anything. Salad, burger.
Anything. I just like to eat. I do try to keep it somewhat healthy. I'm not super strict, but
yeah. And you have some weird food habits.
Oh my gosh. Like
not
what?
like weird, but like whenever I first met you, I'm like, what's happening? You had like your chicken from the Greek place and you're like dipping it in oil. And I'm like, what is going on here? And you're like,
and the fried cheese oil.
Yeah, you're like, I have to do this because I have this physical condition.
I do it. Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does that not happen anymore?
Yeah, I still do that. So I have.
Tell them.
Oh my gosh.
You're like, no, I don't want to.
We're going here. So I forget, I don't know what it's actually called. It runs in my family. It's genetic. I have it. My younger sister has it. My dad has it. And my grandpa had it.
Well,
it is a condition in your esophagus where things get stuck. You can still breathe.
Right.
Through your nose. Like you're
breathing.
You can breathe, so you're not choking, but it won't go down.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to slowly drink water until it goes down, or you have to get it back up somehow.
Not pleasant.
No, and it's usually with drier foods like chicken, rice, jambalaya.
The listeners are like, Jumba who?
Yeah, jambalaya from Louisiana.
Rice,
But
meat.
when I was in college, I took a Mucinex. And so basically what happens is it has been described to me by the doctors that the food sort of like passes through the esophagus and the esophagus restricts.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't get it to unrestrict. It is involuntary.
Mm-hmm.
So in college, I took a Mucinex.
Yeah, they're big.
Huge monster pill.
Very large dry pills.
Very
no
large.
coating.
It got freaking stuck and I could not get it down and I could not get it up and there was nothing I could do. The next day I was in so much pain I had to go to the emergency room where they discovered that it had gotten stuck to the side of my esophagus wall and burned a hole.
Oh.
Because Mucinex is made to dissolve in your stomach, not in your esophagus. So it burned a hole. So I had to have a procedure where they basically went in and put a Band-Aid in my esophagus.
This is not funny.
I know.
But it kind of is.
And while they were in there, they stretched it.
Oh, how nice of them.
Yes. Now they also have a procedure where they can put like a mesh netting to keep it open. We did not do that. We just stretched it. I have not had a problem that severe since college, but I get stuck like once or twice a week, and Tanner can recognize it. If we're like eating and I get quiet, I have to kind of just let it pass.
And he's like, oh.
Yeah, but
it's okay because you're not going to die.
No, I'm not going to die. You can breathe.
Okay, well, I'm actually feeling glad that we talked about this again because I have worried about your health.
Oh, no, it's
just And if I know all the rules to the Heimlich, but you're not going to need that.
No, it's not choking.
Thank the Lord.
It is not choking.
Great. Excellent.
I can't believe you've been nervous all these years.
A little bit. Okay, do I want to tell you what I eat in a day? I actually do not eat breakfast as a rule now, and I love it.
Because you do the intermittent fasting.
Yeah, which, I mean, before I eat breakfast, and I would have eggs or whatever. No food until lunch. Mm-hmm. And I like,
whatever.
Normal stuff, right?
Yeah.
We eat a variety of things. Mm-hmm. We have our favorite salad.
Yes,
at the Maxwell's.
Yeah.
I also have my favorite cookie there. It's all about balance, people.
Yeah.
It's all about balance.
Salad with a cookie.
Yeah, we like to keep
half and half sweet, unsweet.
Right. What's your favorite fast food? Do you eat
Cane's?
Cane's. I think that's mine too.
Yeah, that was my first job too.
I worked Don't worry,
Cane's.
We're getting there.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, we're getting there. Okay, we're going to move on. I mean, for dinner, we eat, I can't. What do I eat in a day? All kinds of stuff.
Yes.
Right? My go-to at the Trader Joe's is the coconut chocolate covered almonds.
Yeah.
And I like to have a handful of those bad boys after lunch. Okay. What's your go-to coffee order or caffeine fix?
Okay, are you ready?
Alissa Jenkins.
From CC's. Mm-hmm. A blended iced latte, which is just a latte, but it is frozen.
Okay.
They will blend it for you to make it frozen.
Is that sweetened in some way?
With sugar-free white chocolate.
Oh.
I get the sugar-free white chocolate in my latte.
Got it.
With whipped cream on top.
Oh, well, that's not sugar-free.
The whipped cream is just cream. People think cream is bad for you.
No, I have lots of cream in my life.
Right. Whipped cream is just cream that is whipped. So unless you add sugar to it.
False.
Okay.
But I'm glad that you feel
the whipped cream that I use.
It can be just cream. But like if you buy whipped cream.
Look at the ingredients.
At the grocery.
Yeah, mine has 0 sugar. Or maybe like it has the little less than
whipped?
1 gram. Yes.
Like
because it's high fat, but it's not high sugar.
All right, we're moving on from this. Okay. Fine. I
love whipped cream because it is low sugar. Even it's high fat. It's like keto friendly.
Fine. Cream. I agree with you. I'm not sure.
All cream is whipped
like
cream.
heavy whipping cream.
And then you just whip it. Okay. And it's whipped cream.
I will give you that. Okay. I'm picturing like prepared whipped cream.
Look at the cans. You'll be surprised.
So you put on a sundae.
You will be surprised. Very little sugar in there.
Don't make me go to the kitchen right now.
You have some?
Yes. I'm not going to the kitchen right now. Oh my God.
Okay, fine.
Fine. We're moving on. Okay, but I don't have
Yeah, you don't really.
I don't drink caffeine. I mean, I like tea, but I don't drink it every day, and I certainly don't have I need a caffeine fix. I'm just not a coffee drinker. I'm not a.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. Okay, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a few things. I went to college to be a physical therapist.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yep, I took all the anatomy classes, and I actually loved it, and I was a really good student. Had good grades, made it through the biologies, the anatomies, and then I shadowed a physical therapist and was like, I hate this.
What was it about it that you hated?
It was just the same things over and over and over again. The building I was in was just kind of depressing. I didn't want to go.
An old doctor's office.
The people weren't doing their exercises at home.
Oh, you were mad because they didn't do their homework.
I'm like, do you want to get better or
You're
not?
You got to get it together.
Right. Come on, people. Do your exercise. You want to get better? You don't want to get better? So I had a total crisis in college where I didn't know what to do. And so I went and talked to the guidance counselor, and they were like, just get a business degree. You can do anything. It's better than like something so specific that you can't do anything with it. Okay. At least go this route. And then I just loved all my business classes. See, that's the thing is like, I love to work. I love school. Right. I could have, I never had a job I didn't like except going to that physical therapy office.
So you're like, this is a definite no.
Yeah.
Everything else had been a yes.
This is the first time I have not liked work.
How did you pick that as a career, as a major to start with?
I think I've always been like, I'm not like into sports. Like I was not great at a sport in high school, but I always enjoyed like physical activity, running or working out. Like I played soccer. I wasn't very good. I'm like, you want the ball? I don't care. Have it. So I just liked, physical activity. And so I don't know. I just got into physical therapy. I loved my anatomy classes.
But no one in your family was in physical therapy. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I know. I feel like when you're getting ready to go to college, they're like doctor, teacher, lawyer, physical therapist, nurse. Like they throw
your
out
go-tos?
Yeah, your go-tos. But like I have a client who is so very wealthy. Uh-huh. And all he does is manage and process crushed limestone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't I know about anything like that in college?
Like, why did anyone tell me I could crush limestone as a job?
And make money. Like, there's so many things out there. I didn't know how to think outside of the box because I don't know what's out there.
This is unfortunate. And for our young listeners, they've already maybe gone in the path that they ended up not wanting to. And now they're like, I'm going to be a realtor, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Realtor is very rarely someone's first career choice, right?
Right.
That's okay. There's something, if it was your first career choice, awesome.
Yeah.
Like, good for you. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times someone comes to it because something else didn't work out.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
I don't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I really loved like architecture, interior design, that kind of stuff. And then when I found out, I never was like, I want to be a nurse or like, I just don't know that I really had a clear, I would love to go find some old, when you're a kid and they make you write it. I don't know what I would say. Like, I have no idea what they said.
You went to school for teaching.
Yeah, that's not what I wanted to do, though.
But you went to school for it as an adult.
Well.
Like you thought at one point you were going to be a teacher?
No, never.
Oh. Well, then what were you in school for?
When I was a kid, maybe I did think I would be a teacher.
What were you in school for?
Oh, good question. Because everyone says you should go to college. And so I'm like, I will go to college. And when I told my parents that I wanted to go into interior design, they're like, well, that's a terrible career.
Oh, my word.
And then I found out and I probably still would have done it. But then I found out it was a 5-year program. And I'm like, I'm so burned out on school. High school was so hard that I'm like, no way am I going to commit to 5 more years of school if I have to choose. So then I'm like, I'll just pick whatever I like, and I guess I'll pick English. I don't really know. All of this is very fuzzy to me. But all I knew for sure is that I had no intentions of using my English degree to be a teacher, and that was pretty much the only thing I thought you could do. So what was my plan? Zero plan.
And I loved school.
Right.
In fact, after college, I almost went to law school.
Just to keep learning?
Yeah. I was really into business at that time. I had taken a business law class. I was like, oh, I'm pretty strong personality. Maybe I could be an attorney.
Right. You could.
And then I was like, I don't know. I need to keep my options open, but I want to stay in school. And so I got my MBA.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, what is your dream job if you couldn't sell real estate? And the other person asked, what would your next career choice be if real estate didn't exist? So same question. What would you do if you could not sell real estate?
Barista.
Right. And maybe at the beach.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm picking up and I'm going to be like, gone.
Yeah.
I would definitely do something in a design.
Yeah. And I thought maybe if something happened and I was not a realtor anymore.
Uh-huh.
Like I got my license revoked, okay?
Right. What would happen?
I feel like because I'm not, even though I'm not a huge math person, I feel like I would be a good mortgage lender.
Oh.
Because I am so into understanding the loan process.
Yeah, you're right.
I've helped clients through so many situations and I understand real estate and I just feel like I could do that. I don't want to do that. but I feel like that's just an area that I know a lot about and would be interested in learning more if I had to.
Okay. That is very interesting.
And then you're like working with the client, but you're not showing houses.
Right.
And you're, yeah.
I think anything in business consulting, marketing would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that
Yeah. Maybe we could like start a podcast.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just talk about stuff.
Right.
I really like talking.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I'm on the path. things are going okay. All right. While we're still on the jobs, what were your past jobs?
My first job ever was at Raising Cane's, and they hired me when I was 15. So I wasn't old enough to talk to customers, but I could make lemonade, and I would come home with pruny fingers.
Because you were just squeezing lemons?
They had
like
a
by
machine.
hand? I'm
Yes,
like, okay. I'm like, whoa.
You take the lemons and you put them on the machine by hand, and it's a pulpy process, you see. So then I turned 16 and could talk to customers, and I just loved working. I skipped school a few times to like pick up a shift.
That's so funny. You know, I worked at the Smoothie King in college for part of it. And I skipped a lot of school to work.
Yeah.
But mostly because I needed the money.
Right.
I'm like, I don't need to go to that class. I'll just keep working.
And then I worked at Brewbacher's, which is like a sandwich place.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember because Cane's was just paid by the hour. And then Brewbacher's was also paid by the hour, probably like 50 cents more an hour than Cane's was.
Okay.
But I remember after my first shift, the girl came and handed me like $40 cash. And I was like,
what is this?
what is this for? And she was like, tips.
And then you were
that
like,
moment.
this light bulb went off over your head, and you were like, wait a minute. They
What?
give you extra money?
On top of what I'm going to be making, I get to take this home today.
Right now.
And that was the beginning.
It was as if they gave you one of those giant checks when you win a tournament or something. Like, or a charity. You're like, oh, what?
Have you seen He's Just Not That Into You when she wins the ice chest?
Oh, God.
And she's like, oh my God, I've never won anything. That's how I felt being handed that $40. And I have never been the same since. And I just was like, we're going to make these tips and we're going to be good.
This was like the intro into the harder you work, the more money you can make. Yeah, that's like my core philosophy. Like, what can I do that the harder I work, the more money I can make?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you all right, then the restaurant, then what?
And then walk-ons, which is just another restaurant.
And then bartending.
Nice. Yeah, I waited tables and then made my way up to bartender. Okay. And then towards the end of that, I was also with staff tenders where this sounds bad, but you could rent me for events.
Yes, just for one thing.
Yeah, like they would say, and that was the best because there was no schedule. They sent out what they needed.
It was like an Uber driver of
yes.
You're like, I'm available, and they're like, here you go.
They were like, we need 3 bartenders and a hostess for a wedding, and the first 4 people that responded got the job.
Yeah. Okay, love that. And then you also worked there with your dad. I'm sure he must have paid you for like when you're doing appraisals. Not really.
While I was getting my appraiser's license after my grandpa passed away and I was helping him, I mean, he paid me in lunches and whatnot, but I was really just learning and trying to I was getting my appraiser's license to help because my grandpa passed away, but I realized it wasn't for me, but I didn't know what to do because my dad was kind of excited that one of his daughters was interested in appraisals and I didn't like it.
Then you were not excited.
No, I didn't know what to do. And then my middle sister, who was a nurse, was like, I'm interested in working with dad. And I was like, great. Yes. And she has the personality for it.
Perfect.
So I just stayed into real estate and she is now an appraiser with my dad.
Okay. I'm going to go way back in time. Okay. So the first job I ever had, which was babysitting. And I am going to tell you how old I am, everyone. When I started babysitting at the ripe old age of 12, I did the little Red Cross babysitting course, and then I made a staggering $2 an hour.
Wow.
I have one client who paid me $5 an hour, and I was like, holy smokes, this is a lot of money. And I'll be like, I need to do more jobs for you. When I was 14, the summer, between my high school, I guess when you're 14, maybe freshman and sophomore I guess. I don't know. I had to get a work permit signed by school so that I could go work with my best friend at her dad's office, which was Baton Rouge Lumber Company. The sign in my office is from there, which is such a weird story, but Jay found it in an attic of a house he was renovating. And it was my very first real job.
Yeah.
Like with the W-2 and stuff.
Okay.
Just for the summer. I didn't work during the school year because, except for babysitting, lots of that, because it was pretty hard. And then my senior year of high school, I did get a job at like La Madeleine, on the line. Yeah, like when they opened the one on Jefferson. Yeah. Like serving, croissants or whatever.
Wow. I did not know that you worked there.
Yeah, in food service.
Okay.
It was not, there were no tips.
Short-lived?
It was very short-lived.
Why?
The summer, why?
Okay. You just went on, yeah.
There's a lot of mopping and there were no tips. Like there was no draw.
Okay.
Then the summer after my senior year, I did a camp counselor for a day camp. So like working with little kids, that was pretty fun, but didn't carry on. And then when I went to college, I got a job in a commercial real estate office accounting department. It's like a friend of the family, regardless, a part-time job. So I learned all about accounting, which I learned I did not want to do.
Right?
Not that I ever thought I would, but I'm like, no. Because talk about doing the same thing over and over again.
Over and over.
Holy moly. The worst. Every 30 days, it just starts again. Yeah. So I didn't want to do that. And I went to school for English. We've caught that already. And I worked in retail after college. And then I ended up as a retail manager. And I'm like, well, this isn't going to work.
No.
And then I got my real estate license.
Great.
I feel like that's the whole story.
Okay.
What's your favorite pizza topping?
Pepperoni.
I think if I had to pick one, it would be pepperoni. But truly, I
like mushrooms, olives.
I want a supreme pizza.
I don't like sausage on my pizza.
I'll take pretty much all of it except for like an anchovy.
Or ham.
Ham's
on my
fine.
pizza.
Oh, Ainsley loves just pineapple.
See, pineapple and pepperoni is delicious.
You have the pineapple with the pepperoni?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would try it.
Oh,
I like a pineapple.
We'll do that one day.
Maybe we
will.
For
lunch.
Great. Okay, perfect. That was easy. If you could only choose one marketing activity for the rest of your career, what would it be?
Probably just talking with people on social media.
Okay. I would choose email.
I know you would.
Because it's just like so impactful.
Yeah.
And fun.
Right.
Okay, great. Moving on. That was from Chelsea. She said, I have to think of some questions. I'm like, well, give them to me.
I think because I just recently started doing the email thing and I can't decide.
Your jury is still out.
I mean, I totally see the value.
Okay.
But, yeah.
But the jury's out.
Yeah.
On if you enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it really.
I know. And that's kind of the funny thing. The question was simply if you only had to do one, what would it be? Not
talk to people on social media.
Not if it was effective or... You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You could design Canva graphics all day if you wanted to. Doesn't mean it's working.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to do that, though.
I don't think that would make sense.
No.
Marketing should have a purpose.
Maybe like volunteering to meet more people. Like to me, that's marketing yourself.
Yeah,
like,
you would network.
I would be a networker.
Yeah, you'd be a professional networker.
Yes, that would be good.
How did you avoid MLMs? You're like a professional networker.
I got suckered into one and was like, this is terrible. I didn't know what they were.
Are you willing to tell us what type of item you were selling or no?
Like health stuff.
Okay.
But I never really sold it. I just got suckered into it.
How long ago was that?
I mean,
many years.
Yeah, before I was married.
There's nothing wrong with that. If you have an MLM that you're involved in, live it up. I just can see how you would be good at it because you're so good at networking.
Yeah, and just
using that for your real estate job.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Moving on. What do you do when you get burned out from real estate?
I like to be outside. I like to roll down the windows in my car. I like to read so I feel like reading a book is really the only thing that will turn my brain off because you can't read a book and be thinking about your real estate transaction if it's a good book. Like you'll be sucked into the storyline with all these new
Your brain is occupied.
Yeah.
I find that I just don't get burned out anymore since I have lessened my real estate work. So now it's more like a fun hobby.
Right.
In a way. I mean, it's work, but I'm like, this is fun.
Like after that phone call you overheard.
Yeah, I was like,
I needed to go outside.
You needed to read a book. You needed to read a whole book. Yeah. I mean, but sure, it still can burn you out. But I'm like, I definitely had that part of my career where, yes, sometimes I was burned out. But I feel like I have solved the problem in my elder career age where I just don't work with people I don't want to work with. And I just
sometimes you don't know that until you're
too far
in it. Like, I never would have thought this particular client would be this much of a pain.
I know, but I guess I don't take on so much that even that would burn me out. It would make me annoyed. Yeah. But I wouldn't be like, I'm burned out. I can't do this anymore.
Right. I think that's good. I don't know.
I'm on the other side of burnout.
I love vacations.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, that's a great way. You used to do your drive away.
My drives. It's been a minute since I drove over the bridge.
I think adding the podcast has been a nice change of pace.
100%.
So that it's hard to get burned out when you know that you have another thing that you're doing that's working, right?
Yeah. And I just feel like the podcast keeps me on my toes for my real estate business.
Right.
And it's like podcast therapy. So I'm always letting my feelings.
Yes, that's true. All the therapy is working.
It is. The podcast therapy is working.
Yeah. Well, so there you go, listener. If you're getting burned out on real estate, maybe you just need to talk it out with someone.
Talk it out.
Okay. Oh, this is a good one.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, it's not scary.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe. I don't know. It says, did it terrify you to have kids? I have this awful thought that my life and career will be over.
I relate to this.
You just said it in the last episode that you were worried.
I think that I was never the person that was like, I can't wait to have kids.
Yeah.
Like, I never was that person. I just assumed, like, you get married, you have kids.
You're like, I'll have some kids.
Yeah, I'll probably have kids at some point. But, like, I was even nervous because when I was pregnant with Haven, I just was like, am I supposed to feel connected to this thing in there? Because I don't. Even like, I thought maybe when I had ultrasounds or saw pictures, I would be like, and I wasn't. I wasn't. And so I was just getting really nervous.
You're like, uh-oh.
I was getting really nervous. All I could think about was my business and my life. And am I ever going to sleep again? Am I going to be able to go out with my friends? Am I going to be able to make money and work? Like, what are we going to do? Like, that was pretty much my whole pregnancy with Haven.
Yeah.
And then she came, and luckily for me, it was like an instant connection.
Okay, great.
Like, life-changing moment the second they put her on my chest.
That's delightful.
And I just understood.
Okay.
I just understood. That's not to say everything after that was all rainbows. And, like, of course, like, I still had certain things that I had to figure out. But I was so thankful that I loved her.
Yes, we're all thankful for that.
And it actually, when I was pregnant with Tate, like, Haven holds this special place in my heart because she changed me. And, like, I know I could love her.
Right.
But Tate is different because it's like I loved him from the like while I was pregnant with Tate.
Right.
Yes, from the before times. Because I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And Haven, as I mentioned in our last episode, before Haven, there was no boundaries.
Yeah.
There was no routines. She grew my business.
Yeah.
Like, not only did she not kill my business.
Right.
But she, like, the way that I had to work after having kids made it so much more.
Yeah.
And so it's been quite the journey.
That's lovely.
It's been, like, to see.
What year was she born?
2017.
Okay. So she was a couple of years old when we started the podcast.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay. I was pretty terrified as well.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, sure, you have your normal new mom fears. And then if you're, like, in a career that is going well, that, like, you feel like you just hit your stride.
Right.
You're like, what is going to happen?
Right.
How will I navigate this?
That's kind of how I felt. Like, I was just hitting some big numbers when I got pregnant with Haven. And I was like, well.
It works out. I just think that it's all about you giving yourself grace and realizing it won't be the same and it shouldn't be the same.
Sure.
And it can't really be the same.
Right.
But it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Right? It'll be totally fine.
And it could be better in a lot of ways.
A lot of ways. It's so much better.
I think the biggest thing I miss is, like, after closings, I used to stay and have wine with Nikki. Sometimes we go out to dinner, the closing attorney.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I have to get home.
Like, bye.
And I miss and I know like every now and then I'll like tell Tanner, hey, can you get the kids? Can I go, you know?
Right.
But it's like, I do just miss the freedom.
Right.
I don't like having to ask for help and
Yeah, that's hard.
and I just want to be able to stay like, or be spur of the moment.
It's a little
and
tougher.
I can't do that.
That's a
as
shift.
much.
Right. It's just a season though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as long as, it's really not that long. It's like a 12-year season.
It feels like forever.
Because at some point they can stay home alone. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Those kids. And at some point they're going to drive themselves places.
Whoa.
Wild. Wild.
Thousands of real estate agents have purchased Email Templates 101, and we wanted to share some reviews.
Nikki said, love these templates. I've been an agent for a little over a year and have done quite a bit of business, but this was my first time using the email templates from start to finish through a listing transaction. It made it so much easier, and I feel so much more organized with these systems in place.
That's what they're there for.
Absolutely.
Shannon said, I just sent my first seller just listed email and they loved it. That one is my favorite.
It's so good. So good. Mandy said, these email templates were a great investment. They would have taken me years to put together on my own.
They did take years.
They literally took years.
That's how long it took us. So with email templates, you get 12 buyer templates, 17 seller templates with attachments to guide you through each part of the process. And each template can be customized to fit you.
Check out episode number 31 for more information or head over to emailtemplates101.com. Okay. What do you do when you're not working? Hobbies, kids' activities, husband's career. So many questions.
You want to go first?
What do I do when I'm not working? We like to play fetch with the dog in the backyard. And we like to ride on our bikes. Although I haven't done it a lot lately, but I do like a good bike ride when the weather's nice. We love to play board games. Well, by we, I mean Jay and me and Ainsley. Jack, you have to like really twist his arm.
He's not into the board games?
Not into it.
Because they're boring?
Maybe.
So they're called board games?
She loves them. We all like them except
Haven loves board games.
Send
I'm not
her
a fan.
over.
Me and Jack would be like...
Send her over. So, yeah, the kid... He has, basketball because it says kids activities. At some point in the year, he has basketball. Ainsley likes to do her silks class, but that's not really taking a lot of my time. And, Jay is obviously here.
Yeah.
Doing podcast things. And then he's picked up golf. And I wouldn't mind picking up golf.
I feel like you'd be a good golfer.
Thank you. I think that I would be too.
And I think you'd look cute in the outfit.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to get the outfits and I'll get better at that. We like to go on some trips every once in a while. Ainsley, I like to bake a cookie, but not like
do things.
I don't feel like I have any just like hardcore hobbies. It's like, well, I'm always fishing. Like that's the thing.
Right.
That is not the thing.
Definitely not fishing.
Do I enjoy an occasional fishing trip? Sure. But do you have any hobbies?
Not
kids' activities?
Really. No.
You read? That's a pretty serious hobby.
I like to work out and go for walks. I like to take quick trips. I like to just put the kids outside and like be inside doing something, cooking something, or like, I don't know.
I like a little trashy TV sometimes.
Yeah, same.
We like to watch movies.
Nothing significant.
TV. I mean, I feel like TV is a hobby.
Sure.
Gotta watch Ted Lasso. Did you see Ted Lasso?
No.
It's a must.
Okay.
It is, and it's over now. So all 4 seasons you can just crank right through.
Is it like a me show or a me and Tanner show?
Both.
Oh, okay.
100%.
Okay, great.
You'll love it. Funny, heartwarming, all the things. Yeah, that was my little shout out to Ted Lasso. Okay. This is what are your favorite things, but I don't like, what are your favorite things?
My laptop.
Of course.
My Stanley Cup.
Right. Like these are a few of my favorite
Forerunner.
things. We had a whole episode about our favorite things.
Yeah. Go back.
Go back and check that one out. Your Forerunner, I love that. I do really love my car. It's my only new car ever. We've now had it a year and it is quite a delight. Like this is still bringing me joy one year later.
Good.
Okay, here's a toughie. The biggest pet peeve your spouse does.
He doesn't rinse off the dishes before he puts them in the dishwasher.
Okay, well, have we fixed the problem now that you got the sink, though, where at least the food is falling into the right
that
spot.
has improved things.
Alyssa said that she had a problem with Tanner putting the food in the non-disposal side of their compartment sink.
Yeah, and
So
then
she
you have to scoop it out and put it in the disposal side or the trash can.
So she just said, you know what? Instead of fixing you, I'll fix the sink. And she got one
big sink that everything goes down in the disposal.
I think that's amazing. What do I have pet peeve? You know, yeah, everyone does.
Right.
Jay likes the paper towels at a certain distance from the soap dispenser because it's like a movable paper towel thing. Mm-hmm. And I hate the way it visually looks, but he's saying the function, it doesn't make sense if they're too close.
They're all about the function.
I know, and I'm all about the pretties.
Aesthetic.
Like, it doesn't look good. I don't want this. It doesn't look good. Yeah. Any general pet peeves? Not about your husband, just the world in general?
I'm sure I don't really have any road rage.
Ever? No one ever makes you mad on the road? I'm like, go faster, Grandma, please.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I don't like when people are on their phone, like visibly on their phone while they're driving. Like, that does make me crazy.
Mm-hmm. I think my biggest pet peeve comes from burning myself out on the coffee dates. My biggest pet peeve is when someone calls and asks for help or advice and then will do nothing with the information.
And you're like, you just wasted all my time.
Yeah. That's my pet peeve.
That's a fair one. Next question. Can we talk about Murphy? Mm-hmm. What is he doing right now?
Murphy. Is he in here?
He left the room.
Oh.
We did the last 2 episodes. Now that we're at the news desk, we have let him stay in here, and then he's just wandered out of the room at some point, quietly, like a little corgi ninja.
Yeah,
he's the best. What is something that makes you proud, other than real estate or your family?
Okay, I actually thought about this the other day because I forget that it is rare.
Okay.
I am really proud of myself that I have stayed on top of like exercise my whole life.
That's really good.
I didn't realize that it was as much of because I just need it. And so I don't know. I didn't realize it was as much of a struggle. Like some people are like, I would rather eat nothing but salad as long as I didn't have to work out.
Yeah. And you're like, wow.
And I'm the opposite. Like I would rather work out every day.
Yeah.
If I could. I would have a harder time being as like good as you were when you were doing your program.
Yeah.
Where you were eating so good.
It's tough.
So hard. I
think moderation and like, you can't be like, oh, so strict. Mm-hmm. Okay. I am a very proud gift giver. I think I put a lot of time and energy into my gifts.
You do.
I feel like that is a fun skill that I have, and I'm proud of it. I'm also pretty thoughtful, and I feel like I give decent advice.
Yeah.
I feel like people are like interested in, but you're right. Nothing worse than giving advice that people also then don't want to take.
I know. I know.
It can go both ways. What is your favorite childhood memory?
So my dad is a real estate appraiser. Mm-hmm. And there were many a times when we had to go to work with him because you don't go to work with mom as much because she was very corporate.
Okay.
So he would turn like the back of the car into like a movie theater. Mm-hmm. You know, he would like plug the little TV into a cigarette lighter, and he actually like put in our like beanbag chairs.
Wow.
I guess there were no car seats at this time.
Oh my gosh.
And he would get us ices and Laffy Taffy, and we would just stay in the car and watch movies while he
was working
and measured houses.
In the summer?
I guess.
He must have left it running because it would have been hot.
Yeah, and the TV had to work. So it had to
Y'all
be
were
running.
actually very advanced.
Yeah. He's like, we joke that my dad is MacGyver because he can pretty much like fix and rig anything.
Oh my gosh.
Also, I have memories of being in his office, and I would, I had a large glue stick, and I would have to glue the comp pictures and the pictures into the report.
Nice.
And so I remember doing that.
That's so funny.
I don't know. I have a lot of memories doing things with my sisters that I'm like, where were our parents? Like, where were you?
Not good.
Yeah, like a lot of memories with my sisters. Like one time, me and Lacey locked Mallory, our youngest sister, in this big rabbit cage we had with the rabbit, and we were pretending she was a rabbit, and we were like feeding her carrots.
Sure.
And then we ran out of carrots, and we went inside
And left her in the
and
cage.
we just forgot we were going to get more, but then we got sidetracked.
How
and
old
we
was she?
Forgot. She was little.
Did you get into trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of trouble. That's so funny. My sister locked my brother in this little play storage room thing that we had on the driveway. My room was upstairs, but on the driveway side. And I don't remember if he's screaming. He was in it for like over an hour, locked in this like storage room, if you will. Yeah, that didn't go down so well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember that. I remember like the weirdest, every incident I had with a rat at the house I grew up in, because we lived in an old neighborhood with big oak trees. Our house was old. There was a rat out of a cardboard box, and I leaned in to look because the door was kind of like at waist level, and like a foot in front of me, this giant rat ran across like the attic. Trauma. I want to tell you one of my current pet peeves.
Okay.
When people use the term core memory and core memory unlocked, I think it is incredibly presumptuous to assume you know what your children are going to remember. Because I have all these weird rat memories. I don't remember the first time we went to Disney.
I know. Isn't that weird?
At all.
Yeah.
I remember, you know what I remember about our first trip to Disney? I was in the 6th grade. My mom and dad never checked us out of school early. I was like a attendance award kind of kid.
Yeah.
Like I went to every day of school. It was not an option for us to be They checked us out early one day for us to leave for Disney. And we rode in my grandparents' motorhome because they came with us to Disney. And we stayed at like the Wilderness Lodge or whatever. And I remember playing odds and evens, like where you 1, 2, 3 shoot with my grandfather while he drove. I don't remember a thing about Disney. Those are the 2 things I remember. And I was in the 6th grade.
It's the little things.
But so my point is all of those Instagram posts, core memory unlocked.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, good luck.
Right.
You have no clue what your kids are going to remember.
No. I do remember, so when we have Monday night dinner still, my grandma is still alive. She still lives next door to my mom and dad. But when I was little, it was every Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we would just, I have a lot of memories with my grandparents because they live next door. And whenever I would get mad and run away, I'd run away next door. But yeah, it is interesting because I always look at Haven now and I'm like, I wonder if she's going to remember these things. Like, she seems so present. How do you not remember these things?
She's clearly conscious.
Yeah. Like, why don't you remember these things?
Don't you remember? Like, sometimes you could show pictures and be like, oh, I kind of, but really they just remember
yeah.
It's so, I find that to be fascinating.
Right.
Like, what do you remember? What do you not remember? What do you block out? Right.
And why?
Okay. Any silly teenage stories, Alissa?
Oh my gosh.
But I'm gonna guide your answer.
Okay.
Unless you have one you're thinking of. No? Great. Let's go back to the Canes where you had your first job.
Mm-hmm.
Will you share with our listeners the strange habit that you developed, or do we not? I want them to hear.
Oh no, I'm nervous now.
Remember with the guy at the dumpster and
oh,
what did you used to do?
Yes, that sounds terrible. Let me tell y'all before y'all think something bad about the guy in the dumpster.
It's not.
I had a habit of
It's truly very kind.
Befriending homeless people.
I think that's very sweet. But you were a
Throughout high
teen.
school.
You were a teen.
Yeah, I was driving. I was able to drive.
And you also picked up a lot of hitchhikers. Your dad knows that's the only reason why I'm allowing you to say this.
Yes. So my first car, it's like that country song. My first car was a pickup truck. Okay,
Right. Okay.
My first car was a pickup truck. It had a bed in the back. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
So I felt safe picking people up and giving them a ride.
Because they were in the bed of
Because they were in the bed of the truck. I never let anyone in the vehicle with me. And I lived.
you. Thank the Lord.
I know, but if I ever die from something like that, just know that I was okay with it.
Because you were being a good Samaritan.
It was
you were like, I'm helping others.
I had to do it. Okay.
You can't resist.
I can't. I had to do it. I have to be respectful. See, again, when you're young, you don't have kids, you can do whatever you want. Now I'm married and I have to like be respectful of my husband who is in law enforcement. And he's like, please don't do that. And
Right.
I'm like, so I try to be respectful, and I have changed the extent to which I will communicate with the homeless. And I feel like the homeless aren't what they used to be. Like, things have gotten
a little different.
Drugs have gotten way worse, different types of drugs. Like,
So you were like bringing though extra food and stuff out
Yeah.
to the fellow that lived near the
yeah,
canes.
and then sometimes I would give him, like, I would give the lady at Waffle House $20, and I'd be like, he can order whatever he wants, and then whatever the change is left, like, you can keep it as a tip or whatever.
Okay.
And then one time my friend that lived behind the dumpster by where I worked, he was the one that I often helped with Waffle House, told me that he had to go to court
Right.
and needed some new like khaki pants or just some sort of pants and like closed-toed shoes. So I
Right.
went to Walmart and I got them.
I mean, it's really so kind. I'm not surprised about this about you. You're so kind and thoughtful and generous.
But they just seemed like I wasn't even thinking to myself, oh, let me help. No, it was just like, hey, man, you having a hard time?
what can I do for you?
Right.
You're like, no big deal. You obviously thought it was no big deal. You're like, want to hop in the back of my truck? Okay. So you also, please tell me I hope that you will tell this story. Tell us how your dad found out that you were taking hitchhike. He wasn't even a hitchhiker because it was your friend from behind the dumpster.
No, this is a different one.
Different guy.
Different guy.
Okay, please tell us the story of what happened.
So I have the guy who I helped with pants and shoes and Waffle House. That was like a regular friend. Wonder where he is now.
I hope he's okay.
Anywho, the other guy, so that was the one from when I worked at Cane's. Okay. The other one was when I worked at Brewbacher's, and I was taking the trash out and we were closing. It was like 10 o'clock at night. It was freezing outside.
Okay.
Totally freezing. And so I go to take the trash out and I notice there is a man sleeping between the dumpster and the fence.
Okay.
And I'm just like, well, this isn't going to work, you know?
It's
so
too
I like
cold.
toss the trash and I'm like, hey, like, you can't be here. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I don't have, and I was like, he thought I meant like,
You have to move.
yeah, go away. Get off
out from my
property.
dumpster.
Yeah, no. I was like, no, I mean, like, it's actually way too cold. Like, you cannot be here. And here's the thing that I have noticed, because I have talked, I hope Tanner's not listening. I have talked to homeless people, okay? Back then, they were never, the ones I spoke to were never off their rocker.
Oh, you mean they were not having mental health issues?
Right. They were not like totally like on
They
drugs.
seem lucid.
Yes. All the people I ever helped and talked to were totally lucid.
Okay.
Now you try to talk to a homeless person and they think they're a dog and they start barking at
They have
you.
mental health issues.
Yes, but it's like drug induced, all sorts of things.
Got it.
So it's just different. It's just different.
Fair.
So anywho, I say that to say, I told this guy, like, you can't sleep here. So I'm like, look, just stay there. I get off work in like 10 minutes. We're almost done and I'll take you somewhere.
Right.
And he's like, okay. Like, really? So
Fine, strange lady at the
fine,
dumpster.
Fine. Yeah. And so he gets in, we finish. I'm like, this is my truck.
Get in the back.
Get in the back.
Right. It's going to be cold.
I'm going to be watching you. Don't do anything
No sketchiness.
sketchy. He's like, okay. So he gets in and I'm like watching him in my rearview mirror like the whole time I'm driving. I'm like, is he gonna like, I don't know, does he have a gun? I don't know.
Where were you taking him? What was your plan?
I just knew that down the street there were some like really sketchy hotels.
You're like, I can just.
Hotel, motel, I don't know.
A motel, fine. Whatever.
I'm like, I could probably do this without a credit card.
He would be out of the cold.
Yeah, and it was very close by.
Right.
So I just went in and poor thing, it was so cold. So when we start driving down Airline
Colder.
Highway, I see him just like shivering back there. I'm like, but he can't get in my car. I do have boundaries.
Yeah. Okay.
So we get to
Thanks.
we get to the hotel and I go in and I'm like, hey, how much is like 2 rooms? Or I'm sorry,
2 rooms.
2 nights.
You didn't need to stay.
Yeah, I didn't need to stay. 2 nights.
Right.
Or a night. And they were like, oh, it's like $35 a night. Okay. And I'm like, do I have to put up a credit card or any? And she's like, no. I'm like, can I just pay you cash and like not leave my information? And she's like, sure. That's what kind of place this was.
Got it.
So I pay for 2 nights for $35, and she tells me where to go. So I drive him around the building and I give him a key. And I'm like, look, you have this for 2 nights. You have to be out by like Wednesday at noon. And I said, please don't mess anything up.
Right.
And he was like, are you for real? And I was like, yeah, just don't mess anything up. I'm not coming back.
You were like, get a shower.
Yeah, I said shower, sleep, but just like, don't mess anything up. And he was like, okay. So around this time, I also had like my first real boyfriend.
Right. This is where the story gets so good.
And he was like my friend from the 8th grade. And now we're dating and we've been dating.
How old are you at this point?
I'm 16. I'm driving.
Okay.
So
I'm like, get your popcorn, people.
my dad, I guess, was using my truck for something. That was sort of like one of the deals, was like we needed a truck in the family. So, you know.
You got to drive it, but yeah, he needed to use it.
So he's using the truck. So he is cleaning out my truck and finds the receipt to this motel. And he's like, oh God, like, oh no. And so he comes to me and he's like, hey, like we need to talk. And I'm like, okay, about what? And he just holds up the receipt. And I'm like, oh God, he knows. He knows that I have like taken this home. And he's like, Alissa, because I said something like, oh, and he's like, so this is yours. And I was like, yeah, it is mine. And he's like, you know, it's so awkward because we're talking about 2 very different things.
Right.
I did not know at the time, thought that I had been like sneaking off with my boyfriend. I knew that I had helped a homeless man.
You thought you were in trouble
for the homeless man.
For something different.
We told you not to pick up homeless people.
Also, Alissa, why would your dad ever think that that's what you had done?
Because he knew that it had been a thing. We had to have some talks.
Oh, about helping the hitchhikers and the homeless.
Right.
Okay. So you thought, oh, he's figured me out.
Figured me out.
Keep going.
I have been caught. So he's like, how could you, like, what? And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I just couldn't help it. My dad is just like, oh God. And I'm like, wondering why he's like acting so weird, you know?
Right. You're like, I'm sorry.
And he's like, but we do you know about these things? Like, we never really had the talk, so I guess he's trying to like back up. I don't know. But I'm like, I'm like, he just looked at me so sad. Like, I didn't know what to do. So everything I'm saying
makes sense for what he's thinking.
And it's horrible. It's horrible. And he's just like, oh gosh, she's being very open about this. Like, so finally I realized what he was talking about. And I was like, oh God, you think me and my boyfriend went to this? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, no, I took a homeless person to the hotel. Why would I go there? And he was like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. I was like, ew.
You're like, Dad?
Yeah. It was very awkward.
But you still got in trouble, yes.
I'm sure. We never really got in too much trouble.
I think that is a fabulous story. But I also would like to applaud you, even as a child, for being so thoughtful of other people.
I wish that... I don't feel like I've outgrown it. I think just being married...
You're just scared, a little more scared.
Yeah, I have more to lose now. Like, I have had more negative experiences as drugs have gotten crazier.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to be careful. But there's still ways to help, so...
Okay, let's take it light. What's your favorite skincare product?
Vitamin C.
Oh, really? On your face? I like the Revision IntelliShade. Remember, we both bought ours on the BOGO from Landon.
It's just a tinted moisturizer with SPF.
It's like the best.
It is the best.
It's got the SPF. It's the only makeup I
started
wear.
using vitamin C earlier this year, I have been so pleased.
Oh, great. I love that. Okay. Would you have a certain brand you like?
I think the one they gave me is Obagi.
Okay, super. What's your favorite thing about being a mom?
Probably just like the snuggles.
Oh,
because I'm not really snuggly person, as you know. But with babies, like it's different. Like Tate's chunky hugs. I just love
hugs
them.
Are good. I love the funny things they say. Yeah. I just like hearing like how they think and like the funny things they tell you.
So yesterday I was like, Tate, why are you so BAD? He goes, EFG. And I was like, oh my gosh, this kid.
Do you record them somewhere?
Sometimes, yeah.
My favorite thing is my kids say the darndest things Google Doc, where since Ainsley was about 3 and started saying funny things, I'll just put the date and what they said. And now when I go back and read it, I am so thankful that I ever did that, because you don't remember those funny daily things. They just kind of like fly out of your brain. But when you go read them as a whole, you just laugh and you can remember and hear their little voice.
Yeah.
So fun.
Cute.
Okay.
You're a good recorder.
Thank you.
You record everything.
I like to record things.
Everything.
I feel like you're like getting rid of your entire digital footprint, and I'm like recording.
I know, but you make me want to hold on to certain things.
But in some way, because you can't trust, just like you can't trust yourself to remember what someone tells you in a client, like a lead phone call, you can't trust yourself to remember your core memories.
Yeah.
You have to like, if you want to really remember something, you do need to document it with a photo or
that's a
written
point.
word or whatever. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's take us back to, now that we've left you in high school, what were each of you like in college with a dead face is what this question.
What's a dead face?
You know, like the skull. Like a.
Why is that there?
I didn't put it there, dude. This is how they asked the question.
Why?
What were each of you like in college? Dead. I'm like, well, I made it through. Barely.
Okay.
In some ways, I'm like, where is this question going?
I loved college.
You did?
I would still be there if I could.
I dated the same guy all through college that I started dating the summer after my senior year, and he was my first ever boyfriend, and he wasn't the nicest fella. So I do feel like my college experience was somewhat skewed by that.
Yeah.
After college, I had a lot of fun.
Sure.
And I had fun in college, but it was like, you know, and I spent a lot of time working because I didn't have a lot of money. I was very poor and, you know, college poor. And, you know, it was all right.
Yeah, I had classes from 7:30 till 10:30, and then I worked the lunch shift from 11 till 2, and then I always took a nap.
Because then I went
like,
out. Out or bartending.
Out or bartending.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we went out a lot. I mean, for our listeners in other places, it's a lot of drinking here locally.
In
Louisiana. So if you could avoid that, you were you were a unicorn.
Right.
If you like totally were like.
It's like in Louisiana, they're always celebrating something. It's just part of the culture.
Right, it is part of the culture. You know, maybe it's a Thursday night.
Yeah. Thirsty Thursday.
Right.
Wine Wednesday.
All the time.
It's always
all
something.
the time. Yeah. And I was a smoker.
I can't believe you were a smoker.
That's like the detail about me that people are like, what?
When you told me that you used to smoke,
yeah,
I'm just
from like the age of maybe it was 17.
Okay.
Like I was a senior until I started dating Jay and I was 26. So like for 9 years.
I just can't even imagine it.
I know. It's a terrible habit. I don't recommend it to anyone. What I do recommend is that I probably should have been tested for ADHD when I was a kid, and then I would probably have been appropriately in the right therapy or medication, because now that I'm reading, I was definitely self-medicating with the cigarettes.
Yeah.
Because the nicotine will kind of set you right.
Right. Makes sense.
I know. Anywho, what's your most embarrassing story? Other than the time your dad thought you took your boyfriend to the motel.
Gross motel. I just want to hear yours. I'm just like, when we got this question, it's like, it's embarrassing, so you don't want to share it.
Look, you're not required to share anything on the Hustle Humbly podcast.
I'm trying to be transparent and authentic.
Fine. Whenever I got this question, I thought I was struggling a bit because I'm like, I do embarrassing stuff all the time. And definitely as a kid, I was embarrassed a lot because I was very shy.
Yeah.
So I just don't have like these big traumatic events that I remember. I guess I blocked them out, rightfully so.
Right.
I'm trying to be a positive person. But I will tell you the one that finally popped into my head was I had met Jay, my sweet husband, one time. Previously, in passing, he was a friend of a friend. And then he went away to the war in Afghanistan after 9/11.
Okay.
And I did not see him again until 6 to 10 months later from the first time I met him. And as you may not know, people who listen to the show, he is an identical twin.
Okay.
Meanwhile, as he was away at war, one of my best friends started dating Chris, his
twin.
identical twin.
Oh.
So I would see her out with Chris frequently. Like I would see him I knew Chris.
Sure.
He was dating my friend.
Yes.
I had my birthday at my apartment. We were having like a little party and my friends were coming over and Katy, my friend, came with who I thought.
And the identical twin brothers were both dating a Katy?
It coming soon after this story.
Oh, okay.
And married. We both ended up getting married.
Okay.
Regardless, I walked into my party, or he walked in with Katy, and I thought, oh, this is Chris, her boyfriend. But really, Jay was back from Afghanistan. And I like walked up and gave him a hug, like, hey, man, how are you doing? And I'm sure he was like, I have met you one time before, you weirdo. But I thought it was Chris.
Oh.
Then later.
That night?
No, not that night. But not long after, we did start dating.
Great.
But that was pretty embarrassing. I was like, oh, my gosh.
I'm sure he's used to it because he's a twin.
Right. They get it all the time. He didn't care.
Right.
But he was like, oh, no, I'm Jay. I'm like, good.
Just kidding.
Good to know.
Mine's way more embarrassing.
Let's hear it. Or don't hear it.
I know. I'm just going to tell it. My most embarrassing moment that I wish I could take back in life because I'm so embarrassed.
I'm like walking around with like a no regrets shirt. I'm like,
no.
I don't care.
No, I'm just like,
Could I take this back?
When we were going over, this is the only question she sent me like ahead of time. And I'm like,
You're like, I don't want to do it.
I have to pick from this.
You were like, there's so many.
There's so many embarrassing moments in my life.
I love this for you.
And maybe it's just because I'm an Enneagram 3.
You're like, I don't want to. Oh, you're worried about how people perceive
what
you.
people think about me. So when I'm embarrassed, I just remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was before kids, but I was married.
Okay.
And the church that I grew up at with my family, like my sisters, my parents, like they all still go there. I don't. I go to a different one because I live 20 minutes away now. But they were doing a really fun thing where they were just trying to like cater to some of like the youth of the church because it's like a older crowd.
Okay.
So they're like
trying to keep the youth engaged.
Yes. And and I love the church. It's Episcopalian, and so Episcopalians are allowed to like, drink and, whatever. So
they're
fun.
Loosey goosey.
Yeah, I like them. So, they're like, we are going to do Disney karaoke.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just like,
You're like, this is in my wheelhouse. I love Disney.
Wonderful. So my middle sister can sing. She sang at my wedding.
Oh,
yeah,
she's a beautiful singer.
Beautiful singer. Like Disney princess voice.
Wow.
If I had to, I always told her, like, you should be one of the princess voices because you have that kind of voice. It's just, I don't know. It's beautiful. So Lacey had like asked like if we all wanted to go, and our parents weren't really going to come because they were trying to cater to like the younger crowd.
Okay.
So they were like, we can't serve you drinks, but feel free to bring your ice chest and da-da-da. Well, we just got like really excited about it. And
you had a couple of drinks.
Well, here's the problem. Just a side note. It took me a minute in college to figure out how to like handle my alcohol.
Fair.
Because it didn't take much.
Right.
Like
You're a small person.
I'm not a huge drinker.
Yeah.
I loved like a beer at dinner or going out, but
right.
I cannot take shots.
No shots.
No shots. It is no fun. They're like, you're no fun. You won't take a shot.
Like,
I'm like, you want to see no fun?
I'm going to throw up.
Give me a shot. Yeah. And you'll have to carry me. You'll have to peel me off the ground and carry me out of here.
No fun.
So, this was one of those times, and the thing I remember most is that leading up to this, during this time frame, I was trying to be like super like paleo. So I was not eating a ton. I was probably on an empty stomach. And we met at my parents' house, which
pregame?
is by the church to pregame.
Pregame the church event.
Pregame the church event. Why would we do this? Okay. And if you know me, I do not karaoke. I'm simply going to like watch. I'm just like, I want to see my sister.
Sure.
And we invited my friend Emily to come. And so she's pre-gaming with us. And like, I just drank too much.
You didn't need much because of the paleo.
And I didn't need much, and I drank too much.
And then you went to the church.
And then I went to the church. And that was a show. It was not good. I was sloppy.
And did you sing?
Yes.
What song?
And I'm just really upset. You know, I want to blame it on everybody else.
Is this
I'm like,
did you ever go back to this church again?
I have. I didn't for a long time, but even when I go back
They
now,
know. People
even
know.
though it's been like 15 years, I'm like, I remember that. And I'm like super embarrassed.
Please finish the story.
Anyway, I think like I've had to have talk with friends around me, like Tanner. I'm like, Tanner, if I ever get this way,
Take me home.
you are big enough to pick me up.
I'm not allowed to.
If I am kicking and screaming, I don't care. Just like throw me over your shoulder and throw me in the car. Okay. Like I don't want to be that way.
Right.
And so if it happens on accident,
Help me.
if it happens, it's an accident.
Right.
I did not mean to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not like, let's go get wasted.
Right.
No, that's
Spring
never,
break. Woo, woo, woo.
no, that's never my intention. But I have had moments where it sneaks up on me, or a drink is stronger than I thought, or I didn't eat enough, or I haven't drank in so long that it just hit me harder. Like,
Fair.
take
All
me
fair.
home. And I'm like, even though it's not their fault, I am mad at my siblings for allowing this to happen.
Oh my God. What did you sing?
Oh my gosh. What didn't I sing?
You sang more than one song?
Yeah.
You just held onto the mic.
And it was bad. And nobody, like,
Nobody stopped you? Because
Right?
nobody else wanted to.
I guess.
They were like, let Alissa keep
I'm
going.
just like, oh, it was so bad. It was so embarrassing.
so sorry that happened.
Yeah. And like,
Good news, the Episcopalians don't kick anybody out.
no,
But
they were very kind
At a
to
lesser
me.
church, you might have been in trouble.
Oh gosh, I would have been like, you know, whew.
Oh my word.
It was just so embarrassing. Like, I can't believe I just shared that.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
We'll
This
be-
is how much I love you guys, you listeners. I wanted to share my most regretful, embarrassing moment.
It really wasn't that bad.
It was.
I'm sorry I missed it.
It was bad.
Okay, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
I've heard Ireland is the happiest place to live.
Really?
Mhm.
I've heard that in Sweden, if you go to jail, it's like a resort.
Oh, let's
And they actually rehabilitate you and they don't have repeat offenders.
That's amazing.
That's not why I'm not going to move to Sweden. But
Oh, where would you live? You'd live on 30A, the beach.
on the beach. I got to live at the beach.
Yeah.
I haven't picked my beach yet, but I feel like I have to. But I also feel like I have to be dual citizen just because I don't want to be there during hurricane season.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like that's putting all your eggs in one basket that could get washed away.
Yeah. You need like a Vermont house, like Sarah.
I would need to two places. I don't know where the other one would be, but the beach, anywhere on the water.
Do you like the mountains?
I love the mountains,
Okay.
but
Well, that's your second home.
maybe. Okay, oh, this is hard. Let's stay on this. What's your favorite vacation spot?
I love a resort. Like I
You
just
like an
love-
all-inclusive?
I do, but you know what's funny? Because if what I'm going to say next is totally opposite, I love roughing it a little bit.
Okay.
When I was in college, I backpacked through the Virgin Islands, and we
Really? That's fun.
we stayed at a missionary's house
Mm-hmm.
because she was just like, sure. And then we get there, and it's like a screened-in tent with you shower when it rains,
Okay.
that type of situation.
Got it.
But it was great,
Mm-hmm.
and we ate at the St. Thomas Virgin Islands University cafeteria because
Okay.
it was $4
Oh.
for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And we had no money. Me and my friend Sarah, we went together and we backpacked, and it was just great.
Love that. Okay. I like all the beaches.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much all of them.
Tropical. I don't like cold. I don't want to be cold.
Yeah, I don't want a vacation cold.
Mm-mm.
No, definitely not. Okay, this is a little tough. I'm like, how many minutes are we at? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I feel like we're on an interview. Do you
I
want to
don't
skip
know.
it?
I don't
know either.
You don't know?
I don't think so.
I hope that we are thriving with the podcast.
Oh, I love that we're still here 10 years from now.
yeah.
That's great.
You think we wouldn't be?
Don't start crying in the middle of the show.
Okay.
No, surely we would still be here. Maybe. I don't know. That's 10 years is a long time.
So long.
Let me tell you where I will be in 10 years. On 3/3/33, I will turn 56. My birthday will be on all threes.
Wow. That's cool.
That's 10 years from now. So I'm going on a very nice vacation.
Okay, good.
Just put that on your calendar.
3/3/3/3.
All the
Vacation.
threes.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to be. That's where I'll be in 10 years.
Okay, on vacation.
Fancy vacation.
Great.
That's all I can tell you for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like I need like a vision retreat because I really don't know.
I would love, let's do that.
Yeah, but I don't want to host one. I just want to go on one.
No, let's just go, you and I.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe someone else can come. Whoever else wants to be on a vision retreat, but it's a DIY.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything.
No.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay. Well, we'll revisit that one at a later time. Do either of you plan on having any more children?
Nope.
Okay, great. I will say this. Before I had kids, I knew I wanted to have kids. I knew I wanted to have 2 kids. I am so blessed and lucky and fortunate to have been able to have 2 and for them to be 1 boy, 1 girl.
Same.
I feel like that's kid lottery. No one ever asks you again, oh, are you going to try for a boy?
Yeah.
Or are you going to try for a girl? Like if it had been 2 boys, if it had been 2 girls, you get a lot of those weird comments. So no one has ever really bothered me about, are you going to have more kids?
No.
Ever. I'm telling you, this is what I call the kid lottery. 1 boy, 1 girl. No one ever says boo to you about anything else. Get a dog, get a cat, whatever else you want to do. That's it. But I only feel like I could handle the 2.
I am a little sad because Tate is so cute right now.
He is really
and I'm
cute.
like, this age.
That's it. But all the ages, like, oh, this is cute. And then then there's something else. And there's some positive. There's a pro and con to every age. So that's kind of nice to focus on.
Yeah.
But I'm always really impressed with people who want to have a lot of children, like 4+.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that is a totally different skill set than I have.
100%.
Even the pregnancy part, I'm like, I don't think I could just keep committing to that over and over again.
Yeah.
But kudos to the people that can.
Yeah.
And want to.
Special.
And get to.
Right.
So,
special people.
Have we ever gotten in a tiff?
No.
What's the tea the podcast hasn't heard? I'm like, you've gotten so much today.
I know. We've shared plenty of tea with you.
And we're also very transparent as a rule.
Yes. We don't edit.
We're not hiding.
Okay, one time we did have to edit out a whole section because I went off on a nasty tangent about selling Tupperware.
And we're going to leave it at that, and we're going to move on. What's the riskiest thing you've ever done besides karaoke at the church?
Drunk, wasted.
Riskiest thing you've ever done. You've jumped out of planes.
Oh, yeah, that kind of risky.
I mean, any kind of risky.
I've skydived a few times. I've scuba dived.
I'm not like an adrenaline junkie, so I'm not going to be doing any of that stuff.
I feel like I felt like buying the cabin was a huge risk, but it paid off, and I wasn't that worried about it.
Yeah, it really paid off. Like, you could dump that thing anytime, and it'd be the biggest win of your real estate investment career.
Yeah, I wish I had 10 more.
I know. I think getting my real estate license, selling real estate was probably one of the biggest risks. I think starting the podcast was a pretty big risk in a way, but in a way it's like, so what if it doesn't work out?
Lose?
Like, nothing to lose.
Nothing.
So risk to me feels like there has to be something to lose. I'm not risk averse. Like, risk don't bother me.
I don't like financial risks. Right. But I'll risk my life.
You won't be needing all that money you saved if you're dead.
Good point.
That was the last question.
Okay, great.
Unless you want to tell us something else risky you've done.
I don't want to talk about anything else.
Fine. I hope that this hasn't caused you trauma. If Alissa calls me later and is like, hey, listen, I just can't. I can't air this.
Can we just scrap this?
We can. It's so long, I could just take that question out.
I wonder if my sisters, like, if they listen.
Are they going to be like, you embarrassed them?
No, they're going to be like, you still think about that?
They probably would. Because I don't think it's that embarrassing. But I wasn't there. It's not like you threw up on stage. Let's think of all the ways it could have been worse. Did the priest ask you to leave?
No, I don't think so.
And they didn't kick you out of the church?
I think they might have said to somebody else,
like, hey, it's time to...
Right.
They're very forgiving people, the people of the church.
They were very gracious.
The people of the church are very forgiving.
So embarrassing.
Let's do a toast.
Okay.
But maybe you with a non-alcoholic beverage. Okay. This is from Julie Harmon to Dana Pray. Pray.
Oh.
Pray with us about Alyssa's problems in Charlotte, Michigan. Yeah, you're fine. I don't think it's that embarrassing. Julie says, I would love to toast one of my co-agents who shared You All With Me. So the podcast, Dana Prey. She says, thank you so much. I have been doing a few closings about 3 hours from my office. So I've spent a ton of time in the car and we're lifesavers and she's addicted to the podcast.
That's so great.
So we're thanking Dana. We're also thanking Dana for sharing the show.
What's that noise?
What is that noise?
I don't know.
With Julie? It was a weird noise.
Yeah, it went away.
Okay, anywho. So, cheers to Dana.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to Julie. Everyone, please forget everything Alissa said, but have a good chuckle about it. This will be like the most listened to episode.
Probably. With my luck.
I think it's great. People want to know a little bit about you so that they know who they're learning
I will
from.
say, speaking it out loud to all of our listeners, it kind of feels a little freeing.
Oh, great. It's like it's not gonna haunt you anymore.
I'm so relieved.
It's not gonna haunt you anymore.
Maybe.
You know what story we should have told? We'll save it for another day. The story of the Mexican restaurant bathroom stall situation.
Oh, gosh. I don't know.
Okay. That's a tease for later. Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to ratethispodcast.com/hustlehumbly and leave us a review or like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast. Don't forget to find all the free resources at hustlehumblypodcast.com/resources.
See you next week.